quarterly project. Let's get this over with. Murder at Midnight. It's the book I read. It's written by some dude by the name of AVI. I assume he's related to TV in some sort of way. And before I go on, there's like a lot of characters in this book. Like a lot. So we start off with a 10-year-old named, oh dear, Fabrizio, and he's a servant boy for a wizard named Mangus. Okay. Oh wait, I should probably mention that this book takes place in some place called Pergamonto, Italy, in the year 1940. That was a pretty important detail I missed. Yeah. Anyways, Fabrizio talks about how he can't read and how one day he wishes that he too can become a great wizard. Some guy in a black cloak warns him about how his master's in great danger or something. That night the wizard has a magic show, yada yada yada. At the end of the show, yet another man cloaked in black warns him about how his master, Gandalf or Mangus, is in grave danger. Apparently this magician is a pretty unliked guy. I wouldn't know why. Everywhere you look, there's a heart. So Fabrizio's thinking around when De La Bia, the head of police or whatever, comes around and says that Mangus is creating treasonous papers magically, and the reasoning behind it is because each one is exactly identical to the other. So they must be magical. Wait a second, these guys haven't heard of the printing press? Wait, let me just Google it. Yeah, it was invented in 1439. What's up with that? Come on, AVI, have some consistency with history, dude. And don't tell me, oh, it takes time for inventions and ideas to spread from one place to the other place. BS. It's like a 21-day walk from one end of the country to the other end of the other country. Plus, you have horses and donkeys to carry the machine and yourself. There's no reason that people shouldn't already know what a printing press is, let alone already have one. Dilla Dum leaves for whatever reason, and Mangus orders Fabio to go collect all the treasonous papers. Some guards see him and think he's the guy who's distributing the papers, and then the king gives him the death sentence for spreading them around. But for plot development, the guards take him to the throne room before executing him, and we see more characters that are given absolutely no development. We see the king, Prince Cosmo, and Scout Scarzoni. Then they take him to the prison cell where, he's probably going to die or whatever. But then, someone sends the executioner a note that says Fabrizio can go free. He runs around for a while, finds some chick in jail named Maria. She might have something to do with creating the treasonous papers or something. And they escape to find two more people in black robes. The men in black disappear into the mist, and this duo head over to Dumbledore's, Mangus's home, where there's Prince Cosmo. He says some unimportant exposition on how he isn't the one who's trying to overthrow his father and how Mangus was arrested for practicing magic, etc., etc. Once Princey leaves, they snack on some bread until they hear a mysterious knocking at their door. They open it to see a man in a black robe. You know what? I think I have a new name for this city. I can see it now. Welcome to that one city in Italy where everyone's in freaking black robes! Turns out that Mr. Mysterious over here is just Scarzoni, here to tell Fabrizio that he and Mangus are going to have a nice little chit-chat before Mangus goes on trial. They ride over to the dungeon and see Mangus all sad and stuff. While they're talking, Mangus tells Fabrizio to get his special coffin to bring to the trial. Warning, the rest of the video contains spoilers for the plot of this book. If you do not want to hear the ending or are planning to read the terrible book, please exit the theater now. Then the rest of us will laugh at you behind your back because no sensible person would ever want to read such a terrible piece of literature. Fabrizio goes home and sleeps on the advice his master gave him. Fabrizio wakes up and gets around to getting the coffin for his master, but then he inspects it. And then this genius of a child notices that it has a false bottom. Fabrizio comes up with a plan. He will dress Maria as a ghost, and then she will hide in the false bottom of the coffin. Then they will take the coffin to the crypt, where Mangus will go on trial. At the precise time, Maria will come out and scare the king into freeing Mangus. So they go over to the crypt and execute the plan. The trial begins, there's some yelling, and finally the king agrees with Mangus that if he can reveal who ordered the papers to be created, he will let Mangus free. Mangus garbles off some bogus magic words, and a ghost erupts from Mangus's coffin. The ghost, Maria, tells the king that his son, the prince, committed the crime. And for no reason at all, the prince immediately confesses and doesn't even try to deny the fact that he did all of it. The prince is banished. Mangus, Maria, and Fabrizio live happily ever after. The end.
Well, that book sucks.
Now, listen, I understand that making a good book is hard, and I also understand that the author probably spent years making this book. But what I also understand is the fact that the book didn't even have a freaking murder at midnight. Yes, there were, parts that occurred at midnight, and yes, there was a murder, but that didn't even happen at midnight. If the freaking title of your book doesn't even relate to the plot, why have it? Redo the title. Just redo the flipping title. Here, I'll do it right here for you. Book of Lies. Now that is a fitting title. 3 out of 10, it was a very good book.